Hello everybody again, it's me Hannah, and once again, this lovely little girl
is she's my mother.
I am your mother. Love you.
Love you.
Mommy.
Love you.
Mommy. Mommy.
Love
Mommy.
you.
Okay, so this is called the Show Me the Book tag, and I know I'm wearing the same thing as last video, but it's because I'm just doing them the same day because I'm not going to be able to film as often moving forward, unfortunately. So I'm going to try and start stacking them up. So anywho's it's and what's it's. Okay, so this tag is the original tag, and she also is the one that tagged me. It's Books and Caffeine, and I'm going to link her channel in my little down bar. And this is Show Me the Book tag. So it's like she picked TV shows and then asked like what books go with the TV shows. And the first one is Gilmore Girls. So a book with great dialogue. And I would say really any graphic novel and I don't know why. I know I've read books with great dialogue, but I just for the life of me cannot think of anything. So I said Saga. This is volume 2. Let's see. The dialogue in these graphic novels are really good. I mean, it's all dialogue, really. It's all just people talking back and forth. There's like a little bit of narration, but that's a very small amount in these graphic novels, which I think are really great. And I love it. And so this is the first thing that came to mind. So This Is Us, a book series that always makes you cry. And I've only read this book once, but it's The Book Thief, and I know for a fact that if I read this book again, that it would just, it would just destroy me. The writing is still phenomenal. This book is just absolutely depressing, and then there's like happy, sad moments, and then there's really sad moments, and then there's happy moments that are so happy, and you feel so happy for the characters that you just want to cry. It's so good. So my next one is Parks and Rec, a book with a small town setting. Every single one of Jodi Picoult's books, probably one specifically called Plain Truth, where it was set in an Amish town, and very small setting, and a very small amount of people. And honestly, I feel like all her books are set in small towns. A lot of them are. Because, small towns, I feel like, breed more drama. So the next one is the show Lost, which I love and adore, and so is my husband. And so it says, a book with a character-driven story. And I would have to say a book that I just read is, this is The Girl in the Tower. This is the second book in the series, but the first book in the series was The Bird and the Nightingale. And I would have to say, that book is so character-driven. I mean, the first, 200-something pages are just you following this girl in her life as she's growing up, and that's basically it for a very long time. But it's still so wonderful and so magically written that I was so into it from the very beginning. So Portlandia, a book with a unique alternative format. And I would have to say this book is really horrible, it looks bad, but Illuminate and Gemini. These books are very different. Their format is very unique, and I've seen books written through text messages and emails and stuff like that, and letters, but I've never seen it written through so many different formats. There's radio chats, there's text messaging, there's emails, there's radio transmission, there's journal entries. It's just, I have never seen anything like it. So the next one was probably the hardest for me to find and do, and that is The Office, a book featuring people who work together. I would have to say The Upside of Unrequited Love, and I think that Molly and the guy work together. Well, I know they do. They work together, and that's really the only thing that I could think of that I've read where the two people are working together actually in an office setting, or a real job, not just like working together to overthrow an empire or something like that, which is usually like what I read. But anyway, so yeah, it was the upside of unrequited love. And then the next one is okay, so I can't find the book that I chose. I chose The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and this is not The Road, this is Cities of the Plain, which is another one of his works. And so yeah, so Cormac McCarthy, The Road, it was very apocalyptic. It was about a man and his son just trying to survive during the apocalypse. So the next one is Stranger Things, a book that scares you. And I haven't read that many scary stories. I've gotten into horror books just recently. So, but I think the only book that has scared me so far has been The Shining, and I've even seen the movie, so I like knew what was going to happen. But I mean, come on. Very scary stuff. And, I mean, just thinking about it, I'm just, but very good too. I really enjoyed that book. It was a lot of fun to read because I watched The Shining and I really enjoyed the movie, and that's like the only really scary movie that I've been able to watch. So yeah. So The Shining. The second one, Full House, a book that features an unconventional family. Okay, so I have one for this one, and I would say Daughter of Smoke and Bone. So I think her name is Karu. She doesn't have much of like a biological family, but her family is basically like demons and the devil, basically. The devil in this story. Anyways, so yeah, so that's basically her family, and it's very different. So I would say a very unconventional family. And I believe that you can make family out of people that aren't your biological family, especially if your biological family isn't there, or it's just like really horrible. So yeah. So the next one is Buffy. Choose a book with strong friendships, and I actually have two. Okay, so the first one is Six of Crows, which I don't actually have. I just thought that the relationships in that book were phenomenal. I really enjoyed reading. Some characters weren't really liked by the main pack at the beginning. Watching them all kind of get closer and slowly but surely become friends and find friendship was really special, and I really liked it. And by the end, they were all really close. So yeah. And then also, well, I can't find Cinder. It's somewhere on this mess of a bookshelf. But this is Scarlet. This is the second one in the Lunar Chronicles. But I would have to say all of the Lunar Chronicles. So there are 9 main characters, and they're all very close. A lot of them don't get introduced until like Scarlet and her friend don't get introduced until this book, and then Winter doesn't get introduced until later, and then Crest doesn't get introduced until later. And so, but they all, convene together. They all want the same thing, and so they all work together. And there's 9 people, and they're a lot of fun to read. The relationships between every single one of them. There's 9 main characters in these books, and they all have very different personalities, and that's one thing I really like about the author. She was able to write a lot of different people, a lot of different characters in a few books, and so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so this has really strong friendships, I would say. And one thing I like about this book, and also Six of Crows, is the female friendships in these books. There was between the main characters, there was no female hate between any of the girls that popped up. Oh my gosh, and I cannot tell you how happy that made me. I cannot stand it when there is female hate to just further a plot. It bothers me to no end. And so these books really made me happy. And same with Six of Crows. The relationship between Inej and Nina was just phenomenal. They were so funny and so sweet and so cute. And I loved it. It was so fun to read their relationship, just because I love it when I read a book and there's, multiple females, and they're not mean, and they're not catty, and they're just friends, and it's wonderful. Just wonderful. So I'm going to tag a bunch of people And also, whoever sees this and wants to do it, go ahead. Go ahead. I tag you. Anyway, so that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I guess I will see you next time. Bye.